Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Diary. Today we're going to listen to a story on the basis of OUE Reality Check. So put on your earphones and let's start the story without losing any time. You are listening the Voice of Diary. I'm 34M, work in logistics management, decent salary, long hours, structured life. I grew up in a house where responsibilities were clear. My father worked, my mother worked too, and both of them cooked. It wasn't about gender. It was about teamwork. My wife and I had been married for 4 years when she said the sentence that split my life into before and after. I don't like cooking. If you want to eat, cook yourself. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't during a screaming fight. It was on a Tuesday night. I had just come back from a 12-hour shift. I dropped my keys on the counter and asked, "Did you make anything?" "I'm starving." She didn't look up from her phone. "No." I waited. She sighed. "I don't like cooking. If you want to eat, cook yourself." There was a tone. Not tired. Not joking. Just dismissive. Now, here's the part that matters. I had been the one paying the mortgage, the car note, utilities, insurance, groceries. She had quit her job temporarily a year ago because it was stressful. I supported that decision. I told her, "Take time. Figure out what you want." That temporary break became permanent. I did most of the cleaning too. I didn't complain. I believe marriage was partnership, not transaction. But that Tuesday night wasn't about food. It was about effort, about respect. I said calmly, "I work all day. You're home. I don't think cooking dinner sometimes is unreasonable." She shrugged. I didn't sign up to be a maid. That line hung in the air. I cooked that night. Pasta. Ate alone at the kitchen island while she ordered takeout for herself from my card. She didn't even ask. That was the first crack. Over the next few weeks, it escalated. Dishes piled up. Laundry left untouched. Groceries I bought vanished into delivery fees and random online shopping. When I asked about budgeting, she said, "You make enough. Stop acting broke." Then she started weaponizing language. "If you loved me, you wouldn't expect me to do domestic labor. If you respected women, you wouldn't push gender roles." It was strange because I wasn't asking for a 1950s housewife. I was asking for basic contribution. One Friday, I opened our joint bank app and saw $4,800 gone. Luxury handbag, weekend spa package, designer shoes. I confronted her. "Why didn't you talk to me before spending this?" She crossed her arms. "It's our money. I earned it. Our money," she repeated. "That's what marriage means." That was the second crack. I started noticing patterns. She would deliberately avoid cooking even when I bought ingredients she liked. She'd post on social media about soft life and being spoiled properly. Friends would comment, "As you should." One night, her mother called me. "I heard you're pressuring my daughter about housework." I froze. "Pressuring?" She said, "You're trying to control her." That was the moment I understood. This wasn't laziness. This was narrative building. The real turning point came 2 months later. I came home early one afternoon because a shipment got canceled. I walked in quietly. I heard voices, laughter, mail. I stepped into the living room. Wife was sitting close to a guy I didn't recognize. Wine glasses on the table. It was 2 p.m. She jumped. "Why are you home? Why is he here?" She stood up fast. "He's just a friend." The guy grabbed his jacket immediately. Didn't make eye contact. After he left, she flipped it on me. "You can't just show up and interrogate me. It's my house. Our house," she corrected again. I didn't yell. I asked one question. "Are you having an affair?" She looked straight at me and said, "If I was, maybe I'd finally feel appreciated." That sentence told me everything. Over the next week, she got colder. Stopped pretending. Stopped hiding spending. Ordered food daily. Left messes intentionally. If I asked about anything, she'd say, "Divorce me then." So I did something she didn't expect. I met with a family law attorney. In my state, equitable distribution applies. Not automatic 50-50, but division based on fairness. The attorney asked detailed questions. Length of marriage. Income difference. Contributions. Assets before marriage. Debts. The house was purchased with my premarital savings for the down payment. I had records, bank transfers, documentation. We had no kids. She hadn't worked in over a year by choice. The attorney looked at me and said, "You're in a stronger position than you think." I didn't file immediately. I prepared. I opened a separate individual account and redirected my direct deposit there. Legally allowed. I continued paying mortgage and essential bills from my new account, but I stopped funding luxury spending. I froze the joint credit card. That's when the explosion happened. She stormed into the bedroom, waving her decline card. "Why is this not working?" I separated finances. "You can't do that." "I can." And I did. She screamed that I was financially abusing her. She called her mother again. She even threatened to call the police. I calmly told her, "We could discuss everything in court." The entitlement escalated. She filed first. Allegations, emotional neglect, financial control, hostile environment. No evidence, just statements. My attorney wasn't surprised. He said, "Stay quiet. Document everything." So I did. Screenshots of spending. Messages where she refused to work. Messages inviting the friend over while I was at work. Bank statements. Social media posts bragging about living off my husband. Discovery phase came. She demanded spousal support and full ownership of the house. Here's where her dirty trick backfired. She claimed she quit her job because I forced her to. We subpoenaed her old HR records. They showed she resigned voluntarily. Email from her. "I want to pursue a stress-free lifestyle." Court date arrived 8 months after filing. That timeline is realistic for contested divorce. In mediation, she demanded half the house equity plus long-term alimony. My attorney leaned back and said, "Given the short duration of unemployment and no children, long-term spousal support is unlikely." In our state, spousal support factors include need and ability to pay, duration of marriage, and earning capacity. 4-year marriage, able-bodied spouse, prior work history. That matters. She refused settlement. We went before the judge. Her argument centered on sacrificing her career. My attorney presented resignation emails, presented bank records, presented text messages where she said, "Why would I work when I have you?" The judge asked her directly, "Are you currently seeking employment?" She hesitated. "I don't think I should have to." That sentence cost her everything. Final judgment. House awarded to me with credit for premarital down payment. She received a smaller percentage of remaining equity. Temporary rehabilitative spousal support for 6 months, not permanent. No attorney fees awarded to her. She walked out furious. But here's the part that felt like real revenge. Remember the friend? Turns out, during discovery, we uncovered messages suggesting he'd been staying over occasionally. In our state, marital misconduct can factor into alimony decisions if it impacts finances. We didn't even need to push hard. The implication was enough to weaken her credibility. After the divorce finalized, I changed the locks legally once she moved out per court order. Sold the house a year later at a profit and reinvested. She tried one last move. Filed a motion claiming I had assets. Court dismissed it. No basis. She had to cover her own filing costs. The woman who said cook yourself ended up cooking for herself in a 1-bedroom apartment funded by her new job at the same company she once called beneath her. The silence in my new place the first night felt strange, but peaceful. I learned something brutal but important. Entitlement grows when you water it with tolerance. Partnership dies when effort becomes optional. That Tuesday night wasn't about pasta. It was about respect. And once respect leaves, love follows quietly behind it. If this story saved you from ignoring your own red flags, hit subscribe. I promise the only thing getting cooked around here now is accountability.